pleasure to welcome Dr. Abdul Salam sir, the General Secretary of CBSE Bharat Sahoday Complex. It is rightly said right now, Dr. Salam is just one such leader who needs no introduction. Our education fraternity knows him very well. As he is the soul of the Bharat Sahoday complex, is true for Dr. Salam sir, as he has been the education iconic leader. Sir holds several positions. Besides being the principal of a very reputed senior secondary school, Sir is a CBSE resource person and CBSE Deputy Trading Coordinator of Trivandrum region. He is a recipient of many iconic awards by many various organizations. His mission to educate is an inspiring for many of us. And many of his sincere efforts are surely going to make a difference in our education transformation. Dr. Salam sir is a true visionary and a true leader. I extend a very warm welcome to you, sir, and request you to deliver the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, and good evening to one and all. Respected resource persons of today, Mr. Keba Xavier, Keba Joseph, and Mr. Mohammad Shafi, our patron Jayanti ma'am, and all the educators who have joined this special session. I say it is special because we are serving to a community which is very small in number. Since it is a community, a small community, there may not be so many helping hands. As far as French language is concerned, it's a very beautiful language, everybody knows, and but at the same time, very few students, Indian students, opt for French language, and when you compare this language with others and all, you cannot see lots of guides or guidelines and other materials available for us. So at this context, I would like to appreciate Mohammad Shafi, Mr. Mohammad Shafi and Keba for coming forward and helping us, helping the French community. This is the third time we are meeting, we are together, and their dedication and passion, they are not working for any other remuneration or anything. Their dedication, I can understand that even for one single French teacher, they will devote their time. Such a dedicated educators, Mohammad Shafi and Keba Joseph. So hats off to you. Definitely with you, we will continue this journey of helping the French community who are always looking forward to. Definitely we have two French groups, Transformers French groups, and lots of materials and helps are being shared, and we are helping one another. But still on such a platform, the number we cannot expect as we do conduct sessions for other subjects. So this is indeed a good initiative from Mohammad Shafi sir and Keba Joseph. Whenever they put forth a topic, definitely we are very glad to host your sessions for the French community. So let's listen to them on how to create resources in conducting ASL in French language. So thank you so much, sirs, and have a good evening, all the educators. Over to Hemalata. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I would also like to invite Dr. Jayanti ma'am. She is a patron of Bharat Sahoday, principal of Sri Chamundi Vidyapeetham, Trivandrum, with an experience of more than 3 decades. Very good evening to you, ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening, Anandol, the most respected our resource person, and our dear moderator, and my dear loving General Secretary Salam sir, and all the educators. This is the 103rd web series. I'm so happy. No worse to this one. This is the continuous process. Continuous effort, neither strength nor intelligence, is the key of to our strength. That means challenges are what make life interesting. Overcoming them makes life meaningful. I'm so happy. This is the resource persons training program that is universe to this place. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, here for a wonderful welcome here to everybody. Okay, I would like to introduce to you our resource person, Mr. Kiba Joseph Xavier J. He has started his career as a French translator and got into teaching French since 2006, being awarded as a Best Teacher from Global Teacher Award 2020, Best Teacher Award 2020, International Excellence Award 21, Bharatiya Shiksha Ratna Award 2021. At present, working as a French teacher and EAT Tech Coordinator at Ambassador School, Sharjah. Sorry, sir. Having obtained MA in French and English, B.Ed and FLE studies in France. Good evening, sir. Over to you, sir.
Very good evening, all. Bonjour à tous. C'est un grand plaisir de vous rencontrer chacun dans cette plateforme virtuelle sur le webinaire ASL in French. So, talking about ASL in French, as you all know that assessment for speaking and listening. Participants, just allow me to just share my screen. My screen is visible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks. Yeah. So assessment and speaking skills. So I'll be just taking you through about how we can create resources for assessment in speaking. Of course, everybody knew that French teaching in CBSE, no matter whatever grade it is, we focus more into writing skills. Of course, language contains of 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And we give more emphasis for writing and reading. So when it comes to speaking and listening, still there's a question mark. Are we really giving priority for this speaking and listening? And here I am to take you all through like the speaking skills. So what is really important and how we could just categorize the speaking skills. Of course, I'm just taking you through the certain circulars which has been already been circulated and which is still in existence in the CBSE NCERT about this ASL has to be prioritized in our teaching and learning process. So if you would like to follow with me with my presentations, you could just also scan the QR code which is there in front of your screen. So this would take you through the complete presentation. So if you have your mobile phone, you could just scan this QR code so that you could have the access of this complete presentation. But to begin with, so assessment in speaking skills. So I'll be taking you through about more of the speaking skills, whereas my dear colleague, Mr. Shafi sir, will just take you through all about how we could integrate the listening skills into our teaching. Well, when you talk about the speaking skills, assessment and speaking skills, so what do you mean by ASL? ASL has to be integrated in the component of all 4 language skills. Of course, we know that any language which has been taught, which has the 4 speaking skills, the 4 language skills. But how are we integrating it? So when it comes to, as we could read out here, that is reading and writing have been more prioritized when it comes to in our teaching in CBSE. But when it comes to speaking and listening, are we giving more importance? Whereas in terms of other curriculums, be it IGCSE curriculum or to be the IB curriculum, where they focus on the criterion-based assessment has been done. Whereas in these comes of criterion-based assessment, the speaking and listening has been given more importance. So for you to just know more about the circular which I was talking about, so which has been passed by the CBSE. Well, every year CBSE gives importance that speaking and listening has to be integrated into our teaching and learning, which of course, when there's a new syllabus which has been created during this pandemic time, the rationalized syllabus, which it talks about, of course, multiple assessment, periodical tests, and of course, we have portfolio, and the final stands for speaking and listening. So for you all to just read through it, I'm just pasting the circular link, which has been passed by the CBSE in the chat box. So you may just access the link. Now, so here I'm just starting with a question. Of course, before we just start with, I would like to put forth these key questions. What am I testing? How am I testing? And how am I measuring it? How am I scoring it? Of course, when you talk about speaking skills, we as the teachers, we as an educators, we have different ideas in our mindsets. Like I can assess my student in this kind of criteria, or these kind of strategies I can implement to assess the student's knowledge in speaking. Well, here are 3 questions. And we'll be looking at all these 3 key questions. To begin with, here is the question. So what can make speaking more difficult to assess than other skills? So those who have your mobile phones in your hand, you may just scan this QR code, or I'll just share the link in the chat box. You may just give your responses in this Mentimeter link. Kindly click on the link which has been shared in the chat box, and please go ahead and give your responses. You may also scan the QR code which is there on the screen. Let me read out the question again. What can make speaking skills more difficult to assess than any other skills? I'm just sending the link again in the chat box. Thank you for your responses. I'm resharing my screen. Lack of grille d'évaluation. Oui. Grille d'évaluation, I'll be talking about grille d'évaluation. Vocabulary, that is one of the very important one. Studying environment. Yes, pronunciation of students not knowing the meaning. It requires more vocabulary. Difficult to get the correct vocabularies. Lack of practice, lack of vocabulary. Hesitating to speak, lack of confidence. Interpretation of tone, reasoning ability. Yeah. Thank you for your responses, teachers. So moving on. So here we are, like we'll be just focusing on how am I testing. So thank you for your responses. Well, of course, lack of confidence and vocabularies is much needed for the students to know what right vocabularies I need to use, and of course, more of sentence building. So when a student is quite confident in making a simple phrases in French, of course, that creates some confidence, which, so we need to keep encouraging students to speak out, to read out. And here we are. I would like to focus on three major areas, the parameters of assessment, which would really help or enhance the students' confidence in speaking skills. The first thing, reproduction, monologue, interaction. So when it talks about reproduction, so reproduction is nothing but we try to give open-ended questions. So what type of open-ended questions? It could be of any type of open-ended questions, either ask a type of question, oui ou non, et après, vous demandez les questions avec l'interrogative adjective, interrogative adverbe, et plusieurs formes de questions vous demandez avec les élèves. So reproduction is something where you try to give some basic simple questions, asking students to give their responses. Well, reproduction also could be of where expecting students, asking them to read a text. So as and when a student reads a text, we try to correct them. So that is a kind of a practice that would help them to gain confidence. And as and when you learn, you try to emphasize on what are the vocabularies are being used. So trying to know them, okay, highlight the verbs, highlight the nouns, highlight the adjectives or the adverbs or prepositions which you come across in the phrase. And that by students will know, okay, they try to learn about the sentence coherences, they will learn about the sentence pattern, of course, the structure of the sentence, and they would gain confidence as and when they read. And when they, while reading, when it's been corrected by the teachers, they take it for granted. So for acceptance, that would give them a confidence. Coming to monologue. Monologue is something where you give them a kind of a questions where you expect them student to present it. It could be a picture based, but I would just say picture card, just giving them any picture card and asking the students to give their own responses. It is a free talk for the students. They could use their own vocabularies, they could use their own verbs. And being a smaller classes, we could just give them a set of list of verbs, a list of vocabularies, where asking the students to use these vocabularies as an help box. So where they could choose the words and they could just use it for their speaking. So that is monologue. Monologue is something where we are giving free choice for the students to come out with their own thoughts, own ideas. They choose their own verbs. And of course, we need to correct the students in what tense they need to speak in. Whether the students have to speak in depends on the picture. You just tell them, is it le présent, le temps présent, or le passé composé? So, and what kind of tenses they need to speak, or whether it's in futur simple. So coming to interaction, that is interaction, where it is jeu de rôle, more to do with role play. So these are the parameters which is highlighted and given by the CBSE, where you can just see the interactive, the interactive competences. So turn taking relevances and relevance to the topic. So it is more of interactions. So we're coming to this, the third point, which I was talking about, interaction and fluency. So these are the parameters we need to just check on, how interactive they are. And how about the fluency? How about the coherence is there? Is there a speed of delivery in what they speak? And comes to the monologue, picture descriptions, picture cards. So how are they able to use the free words or the vocabularies when they describe any particular thing? And of course, the pronunciation and what type of grammar are they using it? So while using grammar, whether it's le temps présent or les articles, les adjectifs, plusieurs vocabulaires, plusieurs the temps, is that the students are paying attention, are mindful when they're using the grammar. To develop these kind of confidences, we need to train up students. So more of le parler français dans la classe c'est le virtuel ou en face à face, whether it's going to be face-to-face learning or virtual lessons. It is, as we educators, it would be really nice we would focus on more of speaking. As most of the CBSE schools, of course, we as an educators, keeping in mind our students' level, all coming from different backgrounds, different cultures, from different countries, not knowing their mother tongue is not French. So most of our medium of instruction, medium of teaching, it is teaching French through English. So we use more of English. So it'd be better at least a week, at least just a day in a week, we would just try using more of French expressions, French phrases in our lessons. And slowly, gradually keep using those expressions. As and when students keep listening to these expressions, so that would help them, students to gain confidence. That will help them to have more of listening, and that listening would help them to pronounce it correctly. So more of reading practices can be given to the students to enhance their speaking skills. Of course, when you talk about the skills, of course, all skills are being interlinked. When you think about that is whether speaking, reading, writing, and listening. So everything is been interconnected. Of course, everybody agrees with this. So when students are being quite confident in writing, and they are quite confident in reading, of course, listening comprehension, whether it could be of speaking, they can. Of course, students would have a fear. Am I pronouncing it correct? Doesn't matter. Just they feel. Let them come out that fearness. So overcoming this fearness would help the students to gain confidence. So the link which I just shared right in the beginning, which talks about the circular which has been provided by the CBSE, where when you just go further more to the page number 18 or 20, where you can just come across the grill, the evaluation. So in what parameters do we need to evaluate the students? So you have for interactions out of scale of 1 to 5, pronunciation on the scale of 1 to 5, fluency, coherences, vocabulary, grammar, which has been used for speaking. So which has been assessed out of 20. So this, of course, teachers are free to use their own grade evaluation for creating own rubrics for their assessment, for speaking assessment. Coming into the creation of the resource. So, of course, whereas here in United Arab Emirates, our face-to-face learning has been full-fledged. So, but still, the countries wherein, most of the countries still there are online teaching is going on. So what kind of apps could be adopted? So I'll be taking you through not all the applications, but still most of these applications are entirely free and free to use it and quite user-friendly to use these applications. So we'll be focusing on, when we talk about the speaking skills, role plays, photocards, and general questions. Going back to those 3 parameters of assessment, that is reproduction, monologue, and so monologue as well, sorry for that, and interaction. So these are some common applications: Padlet, Seesaw, Live Worksheets, Flipgrid, GoFormative, and Vocaro. These are the quite simple applications where you could make use of for assessing the speaking assessment. So I'll be taking through the Padlet, the first application. So maybe in future and for any more furthermore webinars would go ahead, we'll explain about how we could use Seesaw applications and Live Worksheets and the other applications as well. So once again, you can just scan the QR code to access the Padlet. If not, I'm just sharing it in the chat box. So Padlet, it is a free application. So it is widely used for more of collaborative tasks. So you may just access the Padlet. Let me share the Padlet screen. I hope my screen is visible to everybody. Thank you. So just going to any normal Google browser or to be Microsoft Edge, you just type Padlet. So this is the first page which takes you here. So when you just type here Padlet, so it'll ask you for a sign up, right? In the initial stage, you can choose as your role as educator or a teacher, and it'll ask you to create a Padlet. So when you just click on make a Padlet, so here you have different templates for creating a Padlet. So you can just choose your templates. So I'll show you like what has been created by me. So I've just created different categories, that is assessment in speaking and listening, some general questions, role play, and Photocards. So each of these, so well, to start with general questions. So the general question is more to do with, so let me read out some ideas which I do it in my teaching here. So some general questions where in terms of grade 9 and 10, we could use some general questions in terms of lesson 1. Let me read out la tâche 1, la question générale. Si l'objectif c'est présenter et poser des questions. Les questions qui posent très lentement au candidat, qui permettent de parler de lui-même, de sa famille, ses goûts, ses activités. Et aussi, vous demandez les questions, vous posez les questions aux élèves à partir de le texte de leçon. Sur la partie de leçon classe 9e, sur la leçon 1, la famille. So these are some general questions which can be taken from lesson 1, which I've used it here. So some of these questions which you see on the screen. So, quel âge as-tu? Comment ça s'écrit? Tu t'appelles comment? Quelle est ta ville d'origine? Qu'est-ce que tu fais dans le week-end? So some general questions for grade 10, again, based on the text. Qui est Jacques Prévert? Qu'est-ce que c'est le brevet? Quelles sont les responsabilités d'une secrétaire? Qui est le Jean de La Fontaine? So these, of course, these students are learning about the civilization part in the lessons and into the day-to-day learning. So we could ask these same questions to the students. So I just post some of these questions, and here, as you just see here, the students read out these questions and they click on this. So every Padlet, when you create it, it'll have this icon, the plus icon. So when you just click on this plus icon, you can just see a small dialog box opens to its side. So here you have these various options. The first option is to upload any document. So when you're just uploading a document, let me show you. So you just click on, it just takes you to your system where you can just choose the file. It could be a Word document, it could be a PowerPoint presentation, or it could be your recorded voice could be uploaded. So Padlet is an application where it allows 6 Padlets to be created for entirely free. And once you create it and you use it for your classes, it can be downloaded. All these files can be downloaded as a PDF file for your evidences. It can be downloaded, it should be extracted as Excel sheet. Let me show you that later. But Padlet is a very user-friendly and easy application to use it across all grades. So whereas over the next icon is taking a photo. When you just click here, the initial stage, it asks you to allow your camera. So it just opens a photo booth and a camera will be opened up. So the other one, just pasting a link. And the fourth option, you need just click here the more option, you have the audio recorder. So here, when you just click on audio recorder, students have the priority of also recording the videos as well. Video and audio can be chosen, or this audio recorder. So clicking on audio recorder, the initial first stage, they need to click on this mic and they can start speaking. It will record. So as they speak and as they read out the first question, la première question. Comment vous appelez-vous? Je m'appelle Kepa Joseph. Quel âge as-tu? So they can read the questions and they could respond to those questions individually. This is something, the best thing could be done for the students to record the voice. And this helps them to gain confidence because it just, they're speaking to the screen. So once the speaking is done, they just click on this pause and it allows them to play back and say. So now they can just play back it and students can type the name. So for example, if I'm just typing the name called, okay, Peter, and then I just save and ask. So this is how students can record and post their work. So when it just furthermore go down, so these same questions can be even posted directly into here by clicking on add, and you can type something here. La première question, quel âge as-tu? And so you can just see here, and it allows the students to click on it, the same procedure. They click on the more options and they click on audio recorder and they record the voice. So this is how they can submit the answers. And many would have a question, is that one student's post will be visible for another student. So we have the settings here could be done, whereas each student's postings of their recordings will not be visible for another student. So they cannot access other things. Only whatever teacher has been posted will be visible for each of the students. So each student will not have the access of other students. They will have access of their own uploading of their voice, as well they have the access of the teacher's materials. So the link which I've shared right now for in the group right now in the meeting, it is the students link. So you may just try posting out your responses. And moving on for the next category, jeu de rôle, role play. Role play, of course, as you all said right in the beginning, to have a clear understanding of ASL, what are the barriers students would face, are facing in terms of speaking. Rightly said, you all just said there's lack of confidence, lack of pronunciation, they need to enhance the vocabulary. Yes, all these are much needed. But if it is going to be the face-to-face of learning, face-to-face of assessment, so where you can give them a set of so-called as the vocabularies could be given to the students, and where you can just tell them, the students, well, I'm just going to pose a questions. So you can use this vocabulary card or the help card to create your own sentences. So this is a sample role play cards, which you see that here. So as you can just see some instructions for the candidate. So you're going to talk with your friend about your family and friends. Your teacher will play the part of your French friend and will speak first. You should address your friend as you. So we are just giving that instructions right in the beginning. So as when speaking to your friend, we are just telling them you're going to use only tu form for speaking, not vous. And you have to respond when you have not prepared, that you have not, it is a free will of questions. So I've just given instructions here, as you could see here. So the exclamation mark where they need to speak about of their own responses. When you see this question, you have to ask a question. So posing a question to another person. So this in this Padlet, you can assign a task for two people. So here, so when I just want to assign, so I just type here task for task two, role play, je the role, and then I assign the group Ashish, and Noah. So they both will read out the questions or with the direction cards, whatever they need to speak on the topic, so they can record the voice. So whether students are in different places, doesn't matter. So one student is just clicking on it. If Ashish is using his microphone to record it, at the same time, Noah can use his own Padlet to record his voice. So we are just giving the free time. Maybe being a distance learning, this one child has recorded his voice and asked a question and finished it, or another person can do it at a later time as well. Or if you are just utilizing in a live classroom or in a virtual classrooms, you can just assign the task for a group of students. So 2 or 3 or 4, they can use this platform in responding for this role play. So vocabulary. So I generally create vocabularies for each of the lessons. So where learning to know about vocabulary is very important for every class, be it a grade 9 or grade 10 or whatever class French has been taught in your schools. It is very important to emphasize on the vocabulary of the lesson which you're teaching. So here you can just see, which is of grade 10, lesson 3, session de travail. So I've created some vocabularies, all the vocabularies which you come across in the lesson. So which well in hand, before I would start the lesson, I would just share it with the students, where they are aware of these vocabularies. And as and when we start with the civilization part and reading the text, they are aware of the meaning of these vocabularies. That helps them to recall of what they have learned in a vocabulary. So you can just ask a dictation test to build their confidence level in this vocabulary. Even this vocabulary as a dictation test, you can also be provided. That comes under the listening as well. So that is how we need to build confidence among the students in providing more of these opportunities. So moving on with the last section, which is called the Photocard. So Photocard, which falls under this monologue. So general questions, it is more to do with reproduction. Role play, where it is more of interaction, and Photocard, where it comes under the parameter of assessment called monologue, where we are just giving a free choice to the student to choose their own choice of vocabularies or the grammar formations. All is that they need to observe the photo and they need to use the structure of the text, or they need to pay attention, they need to be mindful in using the formation of a text. So as you can just see here, which are just a flow chart which has been taken from grade 10 textbook. So l'enseignement en France comme un nom des publics gratuit obligatoire. So here they could just come across the flow of the education system, which is followed in France and in India. And they just try to just speak about it. So it is their own choice. We're not asking any questions. We just provide them a picture. So they just look at the picture and they speak about it. So it is their choice. And when speaking about a picture, we need to tell the students that these are the 5 important skills or 5 important points to keep in mind. The palm. So to start with, they need to start, okay, dans l'image, dans cette image, dans cette photo. So they can just start as such. And then very first thing, they need to be mindful with the people, P, the first P, people. So, je peux voir, I can see, je peux voir 3 personnes dans cette image, je peux voir 4 impressions dans cette photo, like that. And then action, number 2, yeah, action. So action more to do with the verbs. So what are the actions is been involved in that picture? They need to describe a few examples just given here: manger, boire, jouer, etc. Je mange, il mange de la pizza dans le café, par exemple. Et location, the location. So where this action is taking place. That is, L stands for location, and M, the mood, or whether he or she is happy. Il est très content, il est très triste. Il est fatigué parce qu'il boit du café. And E stands for environment. So talking about the environment, where it also includes the climate. So the surroundings. So il fait beau, il fait froid, and to complete with giving their own opinion. So it is always nice if we teach our students to describe, when they're describing about a picture, so-called as a photocard descriptions, keeping in mind of these 5 rules: people, action, location, mood, environment. So that is with the photocard. So a very simple one for grade 9. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a dans le sac? So dans le cartable, dans le sac, il y a. So they just look at the picture and describe what are the things. It's based on leçon 1. So dans le cartable, il y a un crayon, un livre. So they try describing about what they see in this picture. So that is how could be given for photocard. Moving back to the presentation. So when it comes to the speaking assessment, role play, photocard, and general questions has to be prioritized. So it is our free will to choose whatever criteria we are choosing, either role play or photocard. So that's it, dear colleagues. If you have any questions, you may post your questions in the chat box. So towards the end, during the question time, I'd be happy to answer your questions. These takeaways I'll be sharing in the chat box. So you may just use this Padlet. You could make a copy of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kiba Joseph Xavier, sir. Of course, we will have question answer sessions, but at the end, sir. We are waiting for our one more eminent resource person. I would like to introduce to all of you here our next resource person, Mr. G. Mohammed Shafif Sharifi. He is waiting patiently for his turn to come. Mr. G. Mohammed Shafif Sharifi, head of Department French, the New Indian School, Kingdom of Bahrain, associated with French language in CBSE schools since 2001. Also with CBSE board examination preparation, trains students to prepare for DELF, A1 and A2 levels, an international certification in French similar to IELTS. Received scholarship from the Embassy of French in France, Qatar in 2011 and the Embassy of France, Bahrain 2021 to attend BELF training. He has attended different trainings by French Institute, Qatar, Amity University, India. Took to train teachers by organizing webinar via Gulf French Teachers Forum in collaboration with Ambassador School Shahar Jahan, UAE, Indian School, Al-Wadi, Al-Kabir, and Indian School, Muscat, Madurai Kamaraj University, and Cavilium, Alliance Franchise, France. Got Teachers Participation Appreciation Award by AMP India. Really good introduction to you, sir. I really hope you all like your sessions and waiting for your sessions patiently, sir. Over to you, sir.
Bonsoir, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Hemalata, for introduction. It is always a pleasure
Welcome, sir.
participating in the webinars by CBSE Bharat Sohadia. And I'm always grateful to Dr. Salam that he always come forward to support us with whatever proposal we are giving. Thank you, sir. And also I thank the program collaborator, Dr. Jayanti. So it's a 103rd webinar for CBSE Bharat Sogalia, and the third one for us, the French community. As my friend Dr. Mr. Keba had very clearly explained the importance of having the ASL, that is assessment of speaking and listening in the languages, because as it was also said that most of our students are good in reading and good in grammar, but when it comes to speaking or listening, they are very much hesitated to come forward. There is a lack of motivation. So just I was thinking about how we can overcome to this. So when I was going through the different documents and training, we found that there is no much effective listening practices happening in the classroom. They say if you want your student to speak well, to understand, make use of the languages, so one of the important key factor is to have an effective listening practice, because as much as listening practice is given, the students will get an idea of the language, which word or which letter, how to be pronounced, and that will give them the confidence to perform better. For example, if you give a video game to them in which they will never win, even after playing 100 times, after the child will never take that video game with them. Similarly, we gave something to learn from them, to learn, and if they feel that every time I'm going to do a practice and I'm not going to achieve something, they will not do it. So that's what we call it as something called as the internal motivation. So something which they do, if they achieve something, automatically the motivation would happen. So then, as we are talking about the 4 competencies, so listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Reading, writing is happening most in our CBSE curriculum, and listening and speaking has been very much neglected. So one of the reason being, I was observing that we have a textbook, prescribed textbook, but very much audio support is not given. Okay, this was the first challenge. And the second challenge is that I had recently one feedback from one of the parent from my school, my class. The parent called me and he told, sir, during the class, when you're teaching and when you're there, my child is able to read, understand, and say things. But at home, when he's individually, you want to, when I ask him, what is this word, how it is pronounced, he said he's not able to do it. So that means that home also, they need a backup support, something to scaffold them so that they can read. Okay, then third comes, there are so many audio resources available through YouTube or so many websites like Français Facile, Podcast Français Facile, and other things, but they are not customized or could be used to us. It is either of little bit out of the context for our students. So then I was exploring how I could support my student. Then I came across with this live worksheet. I thought I'll go only with one platform, that is the live worksheet. And I thought, because it's something easy to use and easy accessible by the students also. So just I will show some of my example work, what I have done. Then from that we will see. For example, I use this textbook, I think Mon Livre de Français, for my class 6. Okay, so it looks plain. When at home, because we have a period of 10 to 30 minutes, 40 minutes, on weekly 2 or 3 classes, the student is not able to remember the sound. So now as we are having the Google Classroom, I can, with the live worksheet, I'm able to add the sound of it. For example, if you could see now here, the same textbook which they are having.
Bonjour. Bon après-midi. Bonsoir.
Is it audible, right? So what happens is,
Bonne nuit.
one thing is I'm giving a support to the student at home, and the sound, mostly even when they want to learn French, they also want to learn the pronunciation just like the native, because then only the learning of the language is getting validated. So I mean, the easy way, what could we do is that we can take a PDF of it. Then I will show you even, I did with the experiment with our Entretien textbook. So for example, now even for our class 9 students, so this is for 10th standard, sorry, class 10.
Nous avons déjà rencontré ces personnages. Les reconnais-tu? Présentons-les. Akanksha Sethi. Elle a 17 ans. Elle est en terminale L. Son frère s'appelle Kunal. Il a 18 ans. Il est en terminale S. Leur père travaille à l'ambassade de l'Inde en France. Leur mère est professeure de musique classique indienne. Ils habitent 2 rue Balzac. Voici Narji et voilà Ali. Ils sont sénégalais. Leurs parents habitent à Dakar au Sénégal. Leur père est informaticien. Ils travaillent chez IBM. Voici Pauline et Denis. Ils sont français. Ils sont tous des amis. Vive l'amitié.
Okay. Here you can see that I have put the entire paragraph to listen, but initially our students would find it difficult to catch up with all the words. So what we can do is, we can even put as individual sentences also. So just I would share you that how we can go create this simple listening, I would say worksheet with the listen. We convert our lessons into a simple listening document. So preparing a customized listening practice document in French using an online platform, live worksheet. So most of you would have been learning, but this would be, you'll be creating on your own. It's okay. So the basic simple way is just, you can create a worksheet by, first of all, you can sign up with a live worksheet and create your own account. And you can, what's first step, what you have to do is, whichever document you want to change it, I mean, add the, as a listening document, first convert it into a PDF format. Okay. Then you can get into the live worksheet website, and there is an option called make interactive sheets. So once you enter into it, there is a command called listen, and you can type whichever the sound you want it to happen. Okay, then you put listen. For example, I want this word bonjour to be pronounced. So I would type the command listen and I will write the word bonjour. So when I run that worksheet, you can hear the sound would appear on it. And also I can add a comprehension. So just I will show you a sample. So I have opened my live worksheet. So it's showing a choose a document. So in my desktop, so I have created and I click upload. So actually I have prepared a PDF format with an empty button, okay, like this. So in this, I can add the document, the sounds which I want. For example, I'll just create a text box. As I told you, I click the command listen with a colon symbol, followed by bonjour. For example, I write il s'appelle Pierre, full stop and little bit space. Then I put il a 14 ans. Okay, just for example, I type this. Now I can run a preview. Sorry. After writing this, I have to click on the right side, then text box would appear. There you need to select the language. So since we are doing French, I'll select Français and I will save it. Now you see it is taken up that this following sentence would be read in French. So I can run a preview. So here, when I click,
Bonjour, il s'appelle Pierre.
So
Il a
here,
14 ans.
so in this question, here also you can add an option, okay, where the children can select an answer. So I will show you a complete, since we have a short of time, I will show you the complete worksheet which has been prepared. So in this, I have added the sound.
Il s'appelle Pierre. Il a 14 ans. Il est français. Il est élève. Son numéro de téléphone est 36 42 35 35.
So I can add a drop down button like this, where the student would listen to the dialogue and select the appropriate answer. And you can tell them this is a practice. So you can tell them as many times they could listen and improve their listening skills. So then they finish, as you know, it would generate an answer also. Okay. As you know, it could be shared with the Google Classroom, or even the children can take a screenshot of this whatever activity they did, and they can upload in a Google Classroom for your reference. Okay, mostly it would give them independent hand and give them enough time to repeat again and again. Okay, and mostly we can see that whatever prescribed textbook which you are having, it could be converted into a short PDF, extracted and developed into a live worksheet. So what happens is, even when the parent says, okay, when I have bought a textbook, why it is not being used? Okay, that question would be, would never, because it's we who are prescribing some textbook. So when we are going to present this in this way, and also which is going to help the student, and no doubt it will automatically going to increase the confidence of the student. So initially you can start with words, as I was showing only the greeting, then you can go towards simple sentences, then you can go to the simple paragraphs. So this way we'll make a progress for all the classes, regardless of from which class your grade you are starting. And you can customize according to your need also. And even it's not necessary to, as I told you, the whole paragraph, you can go by single words. Again, we have to categorize according to the learners. So even for them, accordingly, we will be able to have an effective listening practice in our classroom. Even you have a big number of students, it's not going to, everyone will get an individual worksheet, and with all the sound integrated, and plus it is a native sound also. Hope this idea is it will serve your purpose. That's what I would like to share. And I also would like to thank CBSE Bharat Sogadia for giving me a chance to present my idea in front of you. Over to you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It was very nice of you to give us new opportunity to understand. As rightly said by you, sir, listening and speaking has not been practiced regularly as it should be practiced. And we, of course, like to have these sheets like listening assessment sheets, as well as live worksheets for all of us, so that we understand it. And we also make it use for our students there. So any questions there you can ask, or you could raise your hand, sir. Any one of you there would like to ask question to any of our resource person? Either Kiba Joseph, sir, or Mr. G. Mohammed Shafif Sharif.
Yeah, no problem. We can take. Let them. Yes, I think Rehat Taneja is there. Yes, yes, ma'am. Speak your. What is your question? She can unmute herself.
Yes, I'm unmuting her.
Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon, sir. Sir, it was a really nice session and informative session for how to teach in a effective way. Sir, I would like to ask one question, like, can you tell me the process, how to add the listening part to that book? I was doing it earlier, but I was not getting it. Can you please share the link?
Very simple. Which number lessons you want? Only I think live worksheet takes only 5 MB of document. So at least take that first lesson, make the PDF of it, scan it as a PDF document,
Okay.
then get into the live worksheet, upload it there, and which sentence you want. On that sentence, you draw the text box, type the command listen, and put the colon, and which dialogue is there, you can type in the French, type it and copy and paste it there, and then automatically it will appear there. You can use the French type it, the type editor to type with the accent and all those things. And see that after the full stop, give this. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. So when I download the worksheet, which link I have to use for the listening one, the Google form?
No, for listening, you want to add the sound to the worksheet, right?
Sound to the worksheet. Okay, sir.
For that, for that, as I told you, the command is listen.
Okay.
You have to type the command listen and then followed by colon, then what are the things to be read. For example, bonjour, you want after listen, type it as bonjour, it will play the sound as bonjour.
Okay, sir.
So just you can show the syntax, it's like this. The command is listen and then you type bonjour. For example, then it will, when you play that, the sound would come. Or after saving, you could see it will take some.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes.
Yes. Anyone else would like to ask question to sir? You could raise your hand. Even chat box is available for you.
Well, ma'am, there's one question in the chat box where I'll just answer those questions.
Yeah.
Whether this vocabularies can be shared well in advance before we start the lesson, or should be done after the lessons, so or little later. So Ms. Diksha, you can just share it maybe if you're finishing lesson 2 and you're starting lesson 3. So you can create, before you start the lessons, vocabularies can be shared to the students. So that would be also help the students to learn the vocabularies, and they're well prepared when you just begin the lesson. That would help them to follow up with the civilization part. So it's better to just share it well in advance before you start the lessons.
Okay, if Diksha, you want to ask still something? We can unmute you. Okay. Anybody else would like to ask any questions here? Yes, of course. I would ask the admin to unmute Diksha. Yes, Diksha, you may ask questions.
Okay. Yes, thank you, ma'am. Sir, I wanted to ask Re Mohammed Shafi, sir. Sir, I was just doing it, the listening thing. I put a PDF in a live worksheet, and I make a box, add listen, and then the word. But after that, how do I do? I am not able to get it.
Okay. Just a minute. Okay, just I'll show the demo for you. No. So here you have a make interactive worksheet, get started. Okay, so I already have here. Okay, so for example, I want this. So I put listen. Okay, the command is listen followed by colon and bonjour. Okay.
Okay.
And click it on the side one time. Then this speech synthesizer box will open. There you select the language. See, also this many languages are there. Okay, even Hindi. Okay, so we have Francais.
Okay, so means I have to click on outside the box.
Yes, side, yeah. Then now you see listen FR, that means it has accepted. Now here you see this is to preview.
Bonjour.
So once you are okay, everything is okay. If you no more editing, then you can save it. Then it will ask if you share, if you select this option, that means you'll get more space. What do you say? While live worksheet will give you more space. That means you can do more more worksheets for you. So it's better to share. So even the teachers around the world they would refer and they will use our worksheets.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I get it.
Yeah, live worksheet I prefer because it's very simple, not much complicated. Even in this, you can add the comprehension question with dropout or by what is it, matching all those things. You can do it. Just you can all the options there is mentioned. There is a tutorial in the live worksheets also. You can do that one. And the best thing is it could be used as a teaching tool and also as an assessment tool. Okay, even you give any question, it will convert the marks for 10. So you can use it as your internal assessment also. So
Yes,
first thing is,
sorry, it is to add on with Mr. Shafi. So live worksheets, yes, it could be integrated with Google Classroom. So it is a free application, and you can log in with your Gmail accounts. So creating an account is quite simple. And when you give the command listen, colon, and the concerned the text, there should be no space. So don't give a space like after listen, space, colon, it should not be done. So without leaving any space, you should just type this command so that it gets activated to that as a speaking skills. Sorry, as a listening.
Even for listening also, speaking also, we can add the mic. Actually, the live worksheet was introduced to me by Mr. Keba only, thanks to him. But little brainstorming I did on it, how we can go into the more basic level serving. So here we will no need to wait for, even with this, we can train our Delft students also. Because I've been doing Delft since 2010 with the CBSE Entrejeunes alone, and just support like this with listening. My students have been able to do well for all these years. Even during this pandemic, I had 4 or 5 students who cleared their Delft A1, A2. Mostly all of you are doing it. So it's a very little we explore. The main thing is with live worksheet, it's easy to do. Even the children will understand. Many of the online tools, we are as a teacher, we are getting trained, but our students at times they feel difficulty or their devices are not supporting. So as well as, so only we keep on looking something which is cost effective and also very, very, very user friendly. Most of them are user friendly. We are looking for more user friendly things.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for detailed explanation of it. Any other who would like to ask any question? I think Harpreet has something written in our chat box.
Yeah. About our own voice, we can add the voice. There is also an option to play if you have any audio MP3 file. For example, I had some Delft papers when we are training them, some sample papers. Just will take a while. You can add, so just some last one. Even you have any MP3 audio files, and add it.
Épreuve.
Okay. So again, there is another command called play, followed by the audio link. It will ask you that option. Where is the audio? You can link into it. So that way also we can do. If you have an already recorded MP3 file, that also could be integrated. Even if you want to add your own voice, you want the students to record their voice, there is also option on that also. So you have to explore a little more live worksheet. It will work.
Okay. So one more question we have from Diana Jerome. How can we create speaking options in Padlet? I think this question goes to Mr. Kiba. Would you please answer the question, sir?
Sure. Let me quickly share this screen. My screen is visible now?
Yes, sir, it is.
Teachers, when you just go here, as I just created different columns. So way here, you can just see the plus option. So just clicking here, it will show you different options here. You can just see it upload. This is for the upload. This is for taking pictures. This is for link, any link. And here you have the more options. So clicking on more options, you can just see the different things which could be uploaded. So upload camera, audio recorder. So click on this audio recorder And as you can just see here, your microphone, initially it'll ask for, do you want to allow your microphone for this particular application? So you need to allow that right in the beginning. Otherwise, you should also give the same instructions to the students. Otherwise, it won't allow to record your voice. So now I already allowed it, so it is accepted. So just that, you need to click start recording and you can just start speaking. So I'm just speaking now. So clicking on pause, it is capturing, it's captured my voice. So this could be discarded and restarted, or if you just feel that this is my finalized one, or students want to, before submitting, they want to play back. So clicking on playback and save. Here you can just see what has been, so what I've spoken has been recorded here. If students want to go back to the previous file, it just comes back to the previous one. Then they can discard it and they can restart the recording once again. So this is how we add the voice. Let me just show you one last time. Playback and click save. And here it'll ask for the title. So title, it's better to give the student's name. Then they click on publish. And here it goes, the student's voice has been recorded.
I think they can add video also, right? Sorry.
Yes, sir. Yes, Miss.
Yeah,
so videos could be also been recorded.
Their own recording, right? Yeah.
So when you just click on the plus symbol,
Okay. And so one more question we are having, sir.
Yes.
They're asking how to link a live worksheet to Google Classroom. Anyone of you can answer this question who are comfortable?
Yeah, there is an option in the live worksheet itself. It comes on the right side. Once you create, to share it as a link, or there is an option of it comes, or you can put the link for. Okay, I will just show you. There is a work you see, add to Google Classroom is there, or you can copy the link and put as an assignment in your Google Classroom or your Teams. Anywhere you can use it. So here also see add to Microsoft Teams, add to Google Classroom, or directly this link. Once you create your own account, whatever your students does also would come to and store it here. That we also, there is also an option in which the live worksheet itself stores the work of the student. Because once they submit, there is an option called send a mail to your teacher, like that also is there. So here it comes, email my answers to my teacher. So whichever email ID you have registered in the live worksheet, if you tell your students to send, this answer sheet will come to your email ID also, and it will be stored in this live worksheet, your account. So anytime you can check also, along with the marks, it will appear. So when you're doing an assessment for that time, for when you're using for a teaching purpose, also you can use this. That time you no need, you can tell the children no need to submit. Keep on listening as many, because as many number of hours they get exposure to listening, that much they will improve. Today I tell them, teach them one word, the next day I'm teaching another word, and I'm asking in the fourth day the first word, they not remember. So that's what, see, very simple. I always share with my colleagues, see, our students every day they're learning 5 subjects and 5 concepts every day, and we just to put them on a 6th day, we're asking what you learned, how they would remember, until there is no scaffolding support given by us. So that's what I came with the proposal to Salam sir, and he was gentle enough to accept this. So that's what we are trying to help each other.
Yeah, I hope INRJ has got the answer right now. Okay, yes, good to know, sir. Any questions from you? Even the chat box is open for all. Okay.
It's already, it's getting 9 p.m. in India. We are only 5:30 here. For us, just the
Yes,
evening.
Sir. Okay.
Yeah. That's...
So thank you so much, sir. I hope our educators have got the answers to their queries. With respect to today's session, this was really very informative and great learning session for all of us. Thank you so much. And kindly note
from
all
our
the...
side also. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Please carry on.
Thank you from our side also to everyone and the CBSE Bharat Sohadya. Dr. Abdul Salam, Dr. Jayanti, and Ms. Hemalata, and Mr. Arun Mohan. And they have really come out in a very professional way for us. It's a big opportunity. Hope we are making some difference. Thank you for this.
Thank you so much. Kindly note link for the attendance and feedback form is already posted in chat box. Please fill it up before leaving, all the participants. We have now come to an end of this webinar. It is such a great honor and privilege to get the opportunity to thank you all. I, on behalf of Bharat Sahodaya, express our heartfelt gratitude and deep sense of appreciation to Mr. G. Mohammad Shafif Shari and Mr. Kiba Joseph Javier J. for such a wonderful and enriching session. I think we all have that power as teacher. I am sure all our educators here now have better understanding about how to identify and ways to address students to how to create such a classrooms to aid learning process of French language in children. As it is said, if a child cannot learn in the way we teach, we must teach in a way that child can learn. Thank you so much to our resource person for a lovely session, especially these important things for vocabularies, the way how Padlet can be used, monologue, photo cards, and very important sessions given by Kiba Joseph sir, as well as Mohammed Shafif Sharif sir. He rightly said, listening and speaking is not practice. We shall all make it a habit. And the worksheet which has been given here, live worksheet and listening assessment, we shall all make use of that. And we shall see to it that we make our children learning practice much better and simplified way. My very humble and special thanks to Dr. Abdul Salam sir for unparalleled support and guidance. A huge thank and a warm regards to you, sir, from bottom of my heart. A special thanks to our wonderful IT and technician department, Mr. Arun Mohan sir. Last but not the least, my heartfelt gratitude to the education fraternity of their participation and humble support throughout their sessions. This was 103rd web training series by Bharat Sahodaya. Thank you all once again here. Over to you, Samdar Salam sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Hemalata ma'am. It never looks that you're a new face on such platform. So you have done a very good job. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Dear participants, actually, you must have come to know that both of our resource persons are very resourceful. And thank you so much. I think we have to follow them suit because they are, they are doing research and they are updating their knowledge at their level best. Whatever questions you ask, there is no delay in answering you, especially with regard to technology. So this is something which we have to, adopt because, the more, technology oriented we are, the more beneficial it would be for each and everyone. And also there's a challenge that students are, having more knowledge than us. So we should not be falling far behind. So it is our responsibility to update and ourselves, and we thank Keba Joseph and Shafi sir for your wonderful efforts. You have wonderfully, designed your course, your session, and we all have been benefited from your entry. So we look forward to having one more session, that the fourth session soon. Maybe next month we can have at least 1 month. You have to hold a session for French community because they are the ones who need the help compared to other subjects. So this is the reason when we discuss Kiba sir and Shafi sir. We always extend our platform to you with no hesitation. We are always at your service. You are doing a wonderful service to the community. Thank you so much, and so grateful to each and everyone who have joined this session. So let's meet next time, and we'll wind up. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thanks for the great opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bonne fin de l'année. Oh, okay.
Okay. Last